I discovered my wife was meeting her lover at our favorite bookstore, so I reserved the reading nook directly across from them, and brought his fiancée with me. After 20 minutes, I waved at her and said what a coincidence. They froze, then we handed them separation papers right there and left together, and now she won't stop calling. 1 month ago, my life looked completely different. My wife Olivia and I had been married for 7 years. We have a beautiful son, a condo in the city we both adore, and what I believed was a rock-solid partnership. Olivia was, my closest friend. We connected at a writing workshop, dated for 2 years, and had what everyone described as a storybook wedding. She's a literature professor at the university, and I run my own graphic design studio. We were busy, definitely, but fulfilled. At least that's what I thought. In retrospect, there were warning signs. The increasing number of late faculty meetings. The weekend workshops that suddenly became more frequent. How protective she became of her laptop. The declining intimacy. But you know how it goes when you're balancing careers and parenting, you attribute it to exhaustion and stress. It began 4 months ago when Olivia started mentioning a new colleague, Marcus. Marcus this, Marcus that. How impressed she was with his critical analysis. How they were collaborating closely on a journal article. How he had such fascinating perspectives on contemporary literature for someone so young in the field. I didn't think much of it initially. Olivia has always been enthusiastic about academic collaboration, and I was glad she had colleagues who valued her expertise. But then I noticed how animated she became when discussing him, how she checked her email more often when they were working together, how she began dressing more carefully on days she had faculty meetings. Still, I trusted her. 7 years of marriage, a child, a life constructed together, I refused to let my thoughts wander there. Then came that decisive Thursday afternoon. Olivia called to say she needed to attend an emergency department meeting. Our son had his piano recital that evening, which she had sworn not to miss. I was frustrated but maintained composure for our son's sake. After the recital, he was crushed that his mother wasn't there to hear his perfect performance. Something inside me snapped. I decided to surprise her at the university with some coffee, thinking perhaps we could salvage the evening. When I arrived at her department, the administrative assistant gave me a confused look when I mentioned I was looking for Olivia. Professor Chen left about 3 hours ago, she said, checking her calendar. Said she was heading home early to prepare for a family event. My stomach plummeted. I thanked her and walked back to my car in a daze. I sat there momentarily, then impulsively opened the location sharing app we'd installed years ago for safety purposes. I'd never used it to track her before, we trusted each other. Or so I believed. The little blue dot showed she was at Paragraphs, an independent bookstore downtown with reading nooks and a coffee bar. It was our special place, where we'd spent countless hours during our courtship, discussing books and dreaming about our future. My hands trembled as I started the car. I told myself I was being paranoid. It was probably just a quick stop to pick up a book. I'd drive by, maybe glance through the window, feel ridiculous, and go home. No harm done. When I arrived at Paragraphs, I parked across the street. Through the large storefront windows, I could see into most of the main floor. I scanned the space and that's when I spotted them, Olivia and a man with sandy blonde